This is GARIS Masculist MGTOW flyers, that is 2-3 page essays on the themes of Masculism and MGTOW, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. This is flyer number 9-6, entitled SeRCing and SeRCing for MGTOWs/Masculists. Description: this flyer describes lifestyles for MGTOW/Masculists who refuse to be manslaves to fluffy parasites. They can ARC, that's ARC, after retirement careering, or SeRC, that's SeRC, semi-retirement careering, and others. Now for the flyer itself. SeRCing and SeRCing for MGTOW/Masculists. SeRCing is after retirement careering. SeRCing is semi-retirement careering. Both are lifestyles suited for MGTOW/Masculists. In this flyer I will describe both and add some alternatives. MGTOW/Masculists reject the traditional male role of being a manslave to a fluffie, that is, a traditional woman who expects to be able to parasite off the money of a man. They look at the fluffy feminist takeover of the divorce courts, which financially massacre about one married father in 4, stripping him of his kids, his house, forcing him to pay child support and often alimony to his fluffy ex-wife so that she can parasite on him after the divorce the way she did before the divorce. Divorce and his marriage has become so toxic to males that 70% of young men in the US and Japan refuse to marry and have kids, thus crashing the birth rate and the population. If the current MGTOW/Masculist rejection of fatherhood continues, there will be no more Americans/Japanese in a mere century. So, with men refusing to marry, refusing to have kids, a whole new gamut of lifestyles open up for men. For example, they can twetwef, they can ARC, they can SeRC. Twetwefing is 2A2Fing, that is, 2 apartments, 2 FIPs. That is, a type of relationship with a woman in which both the man and the woman are FIPs, that's financially independent persons, who studied FIP majors at high school and university. For example, STEM majors, STEM, science, tech, engineering, math, and the professions, so that as adults they are able to pay for a middle-class house if they choose to. Each has their own apartment, so that when the relationship fails, they both return to their apartments at no cost to the man, because his ex-girlfriend is a FIP. There's no child payment because no kids, no alimony because the woman is a FIP. The advantages of twetwefing are that the man gets regular sex without paying the traditional price of being a manslave to a bloody fluffy, and that it keeps the woman being nice to him, and vice versa, because she knows that if she starts nagging him, withholds sex, tries moulding him the way she wants, then he can dump her so easily. Twetwefing is a popular lifestyle for MGTOW/Masculists. ARCing is after retirement careering. Since a MGTOW/Masculist does not have a fluffy parasitic wife to leech off his money and has no kids, he has several options on how to live. He can ARC, that's ARC, after retirement careering. That is, he can become a FIP, earn good money, work hard for say 2 decades, saving hard, investing hard, so that by the time he's in his 40s, he can afford to retire, and then spend his second half of his life being free, doing what he loves to do. If he moves to a poor country, he can afford to retire earlier because the poor country will have a lower cost of living, so his savings increase their purchasing power. SeRCing is semi-retirement careering. A lot of MGTOW/Masculists may prefer to work part-time for most of their lives, living very modestly and spending most of their time not working, doing what they love to do. For example, a MGTOW might choose to work full-time on a contract for a fefew weeks or months, then not work for some months until the money starts to run out, so that he goes back to work on another contract, or gig as they're known nowadays, talking about a gig economy, without eating too much into his savings if the next contract is slow in coming. I know a guy who does this. He works in the IT, information technology field, and seems to be able to get contracts fairly easily, since he does good work and is in demand. But his passion is making videos, so he doesn't want to have to work full-time for half of his adult life before he is free. By SeRCing, he gets to be semi-free early in life. SeRCing is a very definite alternative to ARCing. There are pros and cons to each ARCing and SeRCing. The advantage of ARCing is that by working full-time early in life, one can save a lot early and then benefit from the compound interest it earns, either in stocks or bonds, etc. So the more one saves, the larger the proportion of time of one's adult male life. One can be free to do what one loves. If you SeRC, you will save less, and over your whole adult life, you'll be free to do what you love for less total time than ARCing. On the other hand, if you SeRC, you get to do what you loved doing early in your adult life, once you have finished your FIP major studies. It is in the interest of both ARCers and SeRCers to be FIPs, otherwise they'll earn less money, because they will be paid less if they are male fluffy crappers studying crap at high school and university that the economy does not value. What about other alternatives? One could mix the two lifestyles by adopting a type of serial ARCing followed by a stretch of SeRCing for a few years. If you buy a bit of land and you can grow your own food, then you might be able to live very frugally and not have to save much at all, except for the price of the land. Perhaps you might inherit money from your parents, which allows you to retire and then do what you love doing. There are probably lots of alternatives. You only have to think of them. But the bottom line is that these lifestyles offer MGTOW/Masculists freedom from being manslaves to fluffy parasites. Research shows that the happiest couples are childless, and that the unhappiest couples have teenage kids. So why have kids at all? By choosing to remain childless, and hence much freer, MGTOW/Masculists can devote themselves to doing what they love. So society will thus become hugely more creative, as millions of MGTOW/Masculists devote their time to pursuing their interests, their passions, their curiosity. By inventing new things along the way, they benefit everyone. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de GARIS. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. YouTube channel name de GARIS Masculist MGTOW Flyers. Ciao.